I stood in the center of the crowded restaurant holding a $5,000 vintage diamond tennis bracelet, waiting to surprise my mother for Mother's Day. Instead, she pushed the velvet box into my chest, looked me dead in the eye in front of 20 family members, and sneered, "I wish you'd never been my daughter. You're an embarrassment to this family, and everything you touch fails." She wanted me humiliated. She wanted to showcase my golden child brother, who smirked while holding the deed to the family estate, a property I had secretly bought out from foreclosure 3 weeks prior. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I simply slid the deed transfer out of my purse and smiled, because she had no idea that the luxury house she lived in, the car she drove, and the company her precious son worked for were already entirely in my name. Welcome to BT Revenge Tales. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications for the ultimate payback stories. My name is Maya Campbell. I am 32 years old, and for the last 8 years, I have worked quietly as a senior commercial real estate auditor. I spent my entire adult life believing that if I just achieved enough, my mother might finally look at me with pride. That illusion died on Mother's Day at the Grand Oak Bistro. I had reserved the private dining room, paying $3,000 to host 20 extended relatives. When the waiters cleared the main course, I stood up and handed my mother, Evelyn, a velvet box containing a $5,000 vintage diamond tennis bracelet. She did not even open it. Instead, she pushed the box violently into my chest, her face twisting into cold disdain. "Look at you, constantly begging for attention," Evelyn said, her voice carrying across the silent room. "Your brother Derek bought me a trip to Tuscany, while you hand me cheap trinkets. I wish you'd never been my daughter. You are an embarrassment, and everything you touch fails." The room froze. Derek smirked into his wine glass. I did not blink. I quietly slipped the box back into my purse, took a deep breath, and walked out. Sitting in my car in the bistro parking lot, I didn't shed a single tear. I knew the truth that nobody else at that table did. My 28-year-old brother, Derek, was my mother's golden child, but his entire glamorous lifestyle was a hollow lie. Derek claimed to be a thriving entrepreneur running a boutique marketing firm. In reality, he had never turned a profit. To fund his sports cars, designer suits, and lavish trips, Evelyn had drained our late father's life insurance policy to the last penny. When that ran out, she made the reckless decision to take out a massive high-interest private mortgage against our childhood family estate. 6 months ago, she defaulted on that loan. Because of my career in real estate auditing, I had alerts set on the county property records. The moment the private lender initiated foreclosure proceedings, I stepped in. Using my own investment firm, Apex Capital LLC, I bought the defaulted debt directly from the lender for $600,000 in cash. Evelyn thought she was the matriarch of an untouchable dynasty. She had no idea she was living under a roof I already owned. On Monday morning, I sat in the downtown office of my corporate attorney, Nathan Hayes. Spread across the mahogany desk were the finalized transfer deeds, lien assignments, and foreclosure authorizations for the family estate. But that wasn't the only trap Evelyn had walked into. In her desperation to keep Derek's failing marketing firm afloat, Evelyn had co-signed a $300,000 business credit line, pledging both the company's equipment and future receivables as collateral. When Derek missed 3 consecutive quarterly payments, that debt had been bundled and sold off to institutional distress funds. I bought that note, too. Every legal document was airtight. Through Apex Capital, I was not just their primary creditor. I held the absolute authority to demand immediate payment in full or seize the assets, without negotiation. As Nathan was stamping the final notarized seals, my phone buzzed on the table. It was a text from Evelyn. "Derek forgot his wallet yesterday, so the bistro charged the brunch balance to my card. Transfer me $1,800 immediately to cover it. Don't make me ask twice." I stared at the screen, gave a quiet smirk, and looked up at Nathan. "Execute the default notices," I told him. "Serve them tomorrow morning." The knock at the front door of the family estate came at precisely 9 o'clock Tuesday morning. 2 uniformed county deputies stood on the porch, handing Evelyn an official packet stamped with emergency eviction notices and corporate asset seizure demands. She was given 30 days to vacate the premises. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. Maya, what kind of sick clerical mistake is this? Evelyn shrieked into the receiver, her voice trembling with pure rage. Some predatory investment firm called Apex Capital just sent the sheriff to my door with an eviction order. You work in real estate. Call your connections and fix this disaster right now. I leaned back in my office chair, spinning a pen across my desk. It's not a mistake, Mother. What are you talking about? She snapped. Do you have any idea what this would do to our family's reputation if the neighbors saw? Apex Capital isn't a random firm, I replied, my voice deadpan and icy. I founded the LLC 4 years ago. I hold the primary deed to the house, and I owned Derek's defaulted business notes. A heavy, suffocating silence dropped over the line as the reality hit her. Within an hour, Evelyn and Derek stormed into my corporate office building. They marched past the executive assistant straight into my conference room, where my attorney Nathan and 2 armed building security guards were already waiting. Derek slammed his fists on the glass table, his face red with fury. You can't do this, Maya. I'll sue you into oblivion. You're trying to sabotage my career because you've always been jealous of me. Nathan calmly slid a stack of legal defaults across the table. Mr. Campbell, your company owes $900,000 in delinquent secured debts. You have no legal standing, no collateral, and no defense. Derek's arrogance shattered instantly. He sank into a chair, completely speechless. Then Evelyn did something I had never seen in my entire life. The proud, aristocratic woman who had spent decades tearing me down dropped to her knees on the carpet. Tears smeared her mascara as she reached out to grab the hem of my trousers. Maya, please, she sobbed, her voice cracking with desperation. I didn't mean what I said at Mother's Day brunch. I was stressed. You're my brilliant daughter. Don't destroy your brother's future. Please, I'm begging you. I stood up, stepped back from her grasping hands, and looked down at her with complete indifference. You told 20 people I was an embarrassment and that you wished I was never your daughter, I said calmly. You made your position clear. Now, this is just standard business. I gave them exactly 14 days to remove their personal belongings under the supervision of my legal team. When the deadline passed, the locks were changed. The collapse of their artificial empire was swift and absolute. Derek's marketing agency was liquidated by the bankruptcy court to satisfy creditor claims. Stripped of his leased luxury cars and fabricated executive title, he was forced to take an entry-level retail sales job just to afford groceries. Evelyn's fall from grace was even steeper. With our late father's funds completely depleted and her social credit ruined, she had to move into a tiny, outdated one-bedroom apartment across town. The wealthy country club friends she had spent years trying to impress abandoned her the moment the country foreclosure filings became public record. For the first time in their lives, both of them were forced to live entirely within their own means. 2 months after the eviction, I put the family estate on the market. It sold in 5 days for $1.4 million, yielding a substantial profit that I rolled directly into expanding my own commercial portfolio. Last week, a long email landed in my inbox from an unfamiliar address. It was Evelyn. She wrote 3 rambling pages about how lonely her new life was, how hard Derek was struggling with his hourly shifts, and how a real family forgives past mistakes. She asked for a monthly allowance, signing off with all my love, your mother. I didn't feel anger, spite, or satisfaction. I just felt clean, absolute indifference. I clicked the trash icon, permanently deleted the email, and blocked the sender. For 32 years, I measured my worth by the approval of people who saw me only as a convenience. Letting go of their toxic expectations didn't break me, it liberated me. True strength isn't about making a scene or screaming for respect. It's about building your own foundation so solidly that when the people who tried to tear you down finally collapse, you don't even have to look back.